Hey Aries, I just pulled cards for you about this 1111 message, and honestly the energy coming through is so specific and so gentle at the same time. Like the universe really wants you to hear something important right now. I'm seeing Knight of Swords first, and already I can feel this rush of mental energy. Like your mind has been going a million miles an hour lately. So Knight of Swords comes through, and this card is all about that fast mental energy you've been carrying. You know that feeling when your thoughts just won't stop racing and you're trying to figure everything out at once. That's exactly what this card is showing me. You've been in this mode of constant thinking, constant planning, maybe even overthinking every single decision. And I get it. When we're worried about multiple things, our brain just goes into overdrive trying to solve everything simultaneously. But here's what's interesting about Knight of Swords in this reading. It's not showing up to say you're doing something wrong. It's actually showing me that this mental energy you have, this drive to figure things out, it's part of your strength. The thing is though, you've been directing it in a way that's exhausting you. Like running on a treadmill at full speed but not actually getting anywhere because you're just in one spot. The divine message here seems to be acknowledging that yes, you're a thinker, you're someone who needs to understand and process. But maybe the speed at which you're doing it isn't serving you anymore. I'm seeing how this connects to worry specifically. When we worry, our Knight of Swords energy gets kind of twisted. Instead of using that swift mental clarity to cut through problems, we're using it to cut through every possible worst-case scenario. Your mind is so sharp, Aries, and that's a gift. But when it's fueled by anxiety, it becomes like having a race car with no destination. Just burning fuel and going fast but not actually moving forward in any meaningful way. The message I'm getting here is that God or the universe or whatever you connect with is saying they see you. They see how hard you're thinking, how much you're trying to control and understand everything. And there's so much compassion in this energy, like a gentle hand on your shoulder saying you can slow down now. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because you're doing too much of the right thing and it's wearing you out. Now Page of Pentacles comes in, and oh, this shift in energy is beautiful. After all that mental speed and worry, here comes this card that's all about being grounded and present and curious in the gentlest way. Page of Pentacles is that energy of a student who's eager to learn but not anxious about it. Someone who can look at life with fresh eyes and say, okay, what can I discover today? What small step can I take right now? And I think this is part of the divine message for you. You've been so worried about the big picture, about all the things that could go wrong or need to be fixed, that you've forgotten about the power of just being present with one small thing at a time. Page of Pentacles doesn't rush. This card is about taking your time, being methodical but in a peaceful way, and trusting that small consistent steps actually get you somewhere real. The interesting thing about Page of Pentacles, following Knight of Swords, is it's like the universe is showing you the antidote to all that mental racing. It's not about stopping your thoughts completely or pretending you're not worried. It's about redirecting that energy into something tangible and present. Like instead of worrying about your financial future in abstract terms, you could take one small action today. Instead of spinning about whether a relationship will work out, you could focus on one genuine interaction. Do you see what I mean? This card is telling me that you're actually in a learning phase right now, even if it doesn't feel like it. All this worry, all this mental energy, it's teaching you something about yourself. And the divine message seems to be inviting you to approach this learning with curiosity instead of fear. Like, what if instead of asking why am I so worried, you ask what is my worry trying to teach me? What if instead of fighting your thoughts you just observe them like a student observing a subject? Page of Pentacles also has this really beautiful energy of new beginnings in the physical world. It's telling me that even though your mind has been in chaos, your real life, your actual day-to-day existence, has opportunities for fresh starts that you might not be seeing because you're too caught up in mental loops. There's something about getting your hands dirty, doing practical things, engaging with the physical world that's going to help ground all that Knight of Swords energy. 10 of Swords appears next, and I'm not going to lie. When I first saw this card I paused because 10 of Swords can look really dramatic and intense. But in the context of this 1111 divine message, I actually think it's here to validate something you've been feeling. You know those moments where you feel like everything is just too much. Like you've been defeated by your own thoughts or circumstances and you just want to surrender. That's 10 of Swords energy, and it's showing up here because you have been feeling this way. But here's the thing about 10 of Swords that people often miss. Yes, it shows a difficult ending or a painful realization, but it also shows that the worst is over. When you're at 10 of Swords, you've hit the bottom, and the only way is up. And I think the divine message here is actually really compassionate. It's saying, I know you feel defeated right now. I know you feel like all your worrying has led you to this place of mental and emotional exhaustion. And I'm here to tell you that this is the end of that cycle, not the middle of it. 10 of Swords is often about the death of old thought patterns. It's about those moments where we finally realize that the way we've been thinking about something just isn't working anymore, and we have to let it die. All that catastrophizing, all that worst-case scenario planning, all that trying to control things through sheer mental force, it's brought you to this point of exhaustion. And maybe that's exactly what needed to happen for you to finally be willing to let it go. The divine message in 10 of Swords is actually one of relief. As strange as that sounds. It's like when you're holding your breath waiting for the worst thing to happen, and then it happens, or it doesn't happen, and you can finally exhale. There's a strange peace in hitting rock bottom mentally, because at least you know where you are. At least you're not suspended in that awful space of wondering when things will fall apart. What I'm seeing here is that you've been carrying these swords in your back, these worries and fears and mental burdens, for so long that they've become familiar. And 10 of Swords is the universe saying, okay, you can put them down now. You can stop bracing for impact. You can stop preparing for disaster. This is the end of that chapter. And yes, it might feel painful to let go of these thought patterns because they've been protecting you in some weird way. But they've also been hurting you, and it's time. The connection between 10 of Swords and the worry theme of this reading is so clear. You've been worried about so many things that it's literally stabbed you in the back, metaphorically speaking. Your own mind has become the enemy. But this card is here to show you that rock bottom is actually solid ground. You can build from here. You can start over. You can choose a completely different way of thinking about your life. 8 of Wands comes flying in next, and the energy shift here is incredible. After the heaviness of 10 of Swords, we get this burst of fast-forward movement, and I immediately sense that things are about to start moving in your life in ways you're not expecting. 8 of Wands is all about swift action. Messages coming in, things suddenly clicking into place, and momentum that carries you forward almost effortlessly. And I think this is such an important part of the divine message for you right now. You've been so worried about whether things will work out, whether you're making the right decisions, whether you're on the right path. And 8 of Wands is basically saying, stop worrying, because ready or not, life is about to accelerate. But here's the beautiful thing, it's accelerating in your favor. This isn't chaos. This is alignment finally manifesting in the physical world. 8 of Wands often represents a time when all the mental and spiritual work you've been doing suddenly translates into real-world results. So all that thinking, all that processing, even all that worrying, it's been clearing the way for this moment when things can actually move. It's like you've been clearing the runway, and now the plane can finally take off. Messages you've been waiting for will come through. Clarity you've been seeking will arrive. Opportunities will present themselves quickly. The timing of 8 of Wands after 10 of Swords tells me that as soon as you let go of those old thought patterns and that mental exhaustion, as soon as you stop trying to control everything with your mind, that's when life can actually start flowing for you. It's like you've been holding a dam closed with your bare hands, and 8 of Wands is saying, let go. Let the water flow. Trust that it knows where it's going. What I love about this card in your reading is it's showing me that the universe isn't asking you to figure everything out before things can improve. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to stop worrying completely before good things can happen. Sometimes life just starts moving, and you have to trust and move with it. 8 of Wands energy is about being flexible enough to pivot quickly when opportunities rise. Being open enough to receive messages even when you're not expecting them. Being brave enough to say yes to forward movement even when you don't have the full picture. This card is also telling me that communication is going to be really important for you soon. Whether that's someone reaching out to you, or you finally being able to articulate something you've been struggling to express, or just information coming to you that helps you make sense of everything. There's this sense of things being communicated clearly and quickly. And I think part of the divine message is that you're going to receive the answers you need. Maybe not in the way you expected, but you will receive them, and they will arrive fast. Six of Wands appears and I feel this wave of accomplishment and recognition coming through. This is such a victory card, Aries, and it's showing me that you're actually closer to success than you realize. All that worry, all that doubt, it's been obscuring the fact that you're already on a winning path. Six of Wands is about being recognized for your efforts, about standing out, about achieving something that others notice and celebrate. And I think the divine message here is so powerful because it's saying while you've been worried about failing or not being enough or whether you're doing the right thing, you've actually been building towards something really significant. Like you've been so focused on potential problems that you haven't seen your own progress. Six of Wands is the universe holding up a mirror and saying, look, you're actually doing amazing. Look at how far you've come. Look at what you've already accomplished even in the midst of all this worry and doubt. This card has such a public quality to it too. It's not just about personal satisfaction, it's about external validation and recognition. So, I'm seeing that something you've been working on or working toward is going to be noticed by others in a really positive way. Maybe it's recognition at work. Maybe it's people in your life finally seeing and appreciating your efforts. Maybe it's a project or goal coming to fruition in a way that gets attention. Whatever it is, Six of Wands says you're going to have your moment. The connection between Six of Wands and this theme of worry is really interesting because it shows me that you've been worrying about things that are actually going well. Like sometimes we get so caught up in anxiety that we can't see the evidence right in front of us that things are working out. We're so prepared for failure that we're blind to success. And this card is gently but firmly redirecting your attention to what's actually happening instead of what you fear might happen. Six of Wands is also about having the confidence to claim your success. It's about standing tall and being proud of what you've achieved. And I sense that part of the divine message is encouraging you to let yourself feel good about where you are and what you've done. Worry often comes from a place of not feeling worthy or good enough. And this card is saying you are worthy, you are good enough, and you've earned the right to feel confident and proud. What's beautiful about Six of Wands in this position is it's showing me that the outcome you've been worried about is actually positive. Like all that mental energy spent on worst-case scenarios, and the actual scenario unfolding is one of victory and recognition. It's almost like the universe is saying, I need you to stop underestimating yourself and your journey. I need you to see that I've been supporting you all along and things are working out for your highest good even when you can't see it yet. King of Cups comes through next and the energy immediately softens into something so wise and emotionally mature. This is interesting because King of Cups represents mastery over the emotional realm. This is someone who feels deeply but isn't controlled by their feelings. Someone who can navigate emotional waters with grace and wisdom. And I think this card is showing you who you're becoming through all of this worry and mental turbulence. The divine message in King of Cups feels like it's saying, I'm teaching you emotional mastery right now. All these feelings, all this worry, all this anxiety, it's not here to destroy you. It's here to teach you how to hold emotion without being overwhelmed by it. King of Cups doesn't suppress feelings and doesn't get lost in them either. This figure has learned how to acknowledge emotions, honor them, and then make decisions from a place of wisdom rather than reactivity. I'm seeing that part of what you're worried about involves relationships or emotional situations. And King of Cups is telling me that you actually have more emotional intelligence and capability than you're giving yourself credit for. You know how to handle this. You know how to be compassionate with yourself and others. You know how to set boundaries while still being loving. The worry has been convincing you that you're not equipped, but this card says you absolutely are. King of Cups also has this energy of being a healer and a counselor. Someone people come to for emotional guidance because they trust this person's wisdom. And I think the universe is showing you that part of your purpose, part of why you've been through these emotional challenges and worries, is because you're developing this deeper capacity to hold space for yourself and others. Your sensitivity isn't a weakness, it's your superpower. And you're learning how to wield it wisely. What I love about King of Cups appearing in this reading is it represents emotional stability after a period of turbulence. You've been in stormy emotional waters, dealing with worry and fear and uncertainty, and this card is showing me that you're moving into a phase of greater emotional calm and confidence. Not because the feelings go away, but because you learn how to navigate them differently. The message here feels like it's about trusting your emotional intuition. You've been so in your head trying to think your way through everything, and King of Cups is saying you need to also trust what you feel. Not the anxious feelings, but the deeper knowing underneath all that noise. The part of you that's calm and wise and knows what's right for you. That's your King of Cups energy, and it's asking to be heard. This card is also showing me that you might be called to support someone else emotionally soon, or that someone stable and emotionally mature might come into your life to support you. King of Cups energy is about reciprocal emotional support, about healthy relationships where people can be vulnerable and strong at the same time. And I think that's part of what's coming for you as you move through this worried phase into something more balanced. 6 of Wands shows up again, and I actually want to talk about why this card might appear twice in your reading, because that's significant. When a card repeats, or when we see similar energy coming through multiple times, it's the universe really emphasizing a message. And in this case, the message is about victory, recognition, and success being absolutely central to your near future despite all your current worries. The 6 of Wands energy is like the universe shouting at you, not in a harsh way but in an urgent way, saying please see that you're going to succeed. Please understand that you're on the right path. Please recognize that the outcome is positive. It's like when someone is trying to tell you something important but you're not hearing them, so they have to repeat it louder and clearer. And I think this repetition is specifically addressing the depth of your worry. You've been so worried about things not working out that the universe needs to really hammer home this message of things actually working out brilliantly. 6 of Wands says you'll succeed. 6 of Wands says you'll succeed beyond your expectations. You'll be recognized not just once but multiple times. You'll have not just one victory but multiple victories. This double energy is also showing me that success might come in different areas of your life around the same time. Like it's not just work or just relationships or just personal goals, but multiple areas where you're going to experience wins and recognition. The universe is lining things up for you in a way that's going to make it undeniable that you're blessed and supported and on the right track. The Emperor appears, and wow. The authority and structure energy of this card is exactly what you need to hear right now. The Emperor is about taking control, setting boundaries, creating order out of chaos, and stepping into your power as a leader of your own life. And I immediately sense that part of the divine message is about you reclaiming your authority over your own mind and circumstances. You've been worried about so many things, and part of that worry comes from feeling like you're not in control. Like life is happening to you rather than you directing your life. And the Emperor is here to remind you that you actually have way more power than you think. You get to set the rules. You get to establish boundaries. You get to decide what you will and won't tolerate. You get to structure your life in a way that works for you. The Emperor following all these other cards feels like it's showing you the next step. After you've processed all the mental chaos of Knight of Swords. After you've hit bottom with 10 of Swords. After you've started moving forward with 8 of Wands. After you've received recognition with 6 of Wands. After you've developed emotional mastery with King of Cups. Now you step into your Emperor energy and actually take charge. This card is also about strategy and long-term planning, but from a place of confidence rather than fear. It's the difference between anxiously trying to control everything versus calmly and powerfully directing your energy toward what matters. The Emperor doesn't worry. The Emperor decides. The Emperor doesn't overthink. The Emperor acts with certainty based on wisdom and experience. I'm seeing that part of what's worried you is a lack of structure or clarity in some area of your life. Maybe things have felt chaotic or undefined, and that's been feeding your anxiety. The Emperor is telling you that you have the power to create structure, to establish clear goals, to make firm decisions about what you want and how you're going to get there. This is your invitation to step into leadership of your own life. The Emperor also represents father energy or masculine energy in the protective, providing sense. And I think part of the divine message is that you're being supported by strong stabilizing energy right now. Whether that manifests as an actual person in your life who provides structure and stability, or whether it's you developing those qualities within yourself. There's this sense of solid ground forming beneath your feet. What I love about the Emperor in this reading is it's showing me that you're moving from a place of scattered worried energy into consolidated powerful energy. You're gathering yourself up, getting organized, and preparing to move forward with real authority and confidence. The worry phase is ending, and the action phase is beginning. But this time it's action from a place of strength and clarity rather than panic and fear. Eight of Cups comes in, and I feel this energy of walking away from something that no longer serves you. This card always has a bittersweet quality because it's about leaving something behind, but it's also about having the courage and wisdom to know when something isn't right for you anymore. And in the context of this reading about worry and divine messages, I think Eight of Cups is showing you that you need to walk away from certain thought patterns or situations that are feeding your anxiety. The figure in Eight of Cups is walking away from 8 cups that are stacked up behind them. These cups represent emotional investments, things they've put time and energy into, but they're choosing to leave them and seek something more meaningful. And I think this is so relevant to you right now because you've been investing so much mental and emotional energy into worry, into trying to control outcomes, into staying in situations or mindsets that aren't healthy for you. The divine message in Eight of Cups is about having the courage to move on. It's about recognizing that just because you've invested time or energy into something doesn't mean you have to keep investing. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away, even when it's hard, even when part of you wants to stay and keep trying to make something work that just isn't working. I'm also seeing that Eight of Cups is specifically about an emotional or spiritual journey. This isn't just about external circumstances changing, it's about you internally deciding to seek something deeper and more fulfilling. Maybe you're walking away from surface-level living and moving towards something more authentic. Maybe you're leaving behind relationships or situations that look good on paper but don't feed your soul. Maybe you're abandoning ways of thinking that have kept you small and worried and stepping into a bigger vision for your life. The Emperor followed by Eight of Cups is really interesting because it shows you taking charge and making a decisive choice to move on. The Emperor gives you the strength and authority to say this isn't working for me anymore and I'm choosing something different. And Eight of Cups gives you the emotional maturity to actually follow through on that decision, even when it's uncomfortable. What I'm getting is that part of what you're worried about is whether you should leave something or someone behind. Whether it's a job, a relationship, a living situation, a belief system, whatever it is, you've been anxious about whether walking away is the right choice. And Eight of Cups combined with the Emperor is giving you a clear answer. Yes, it's time to move on. And yes, you have the strength to do it. Trust yourself. Trust that there's something better waiting for you. Trust that you're not abandoning ship. You're choosing yourself. The Hierophant comes through as the final card, and this is such a powerful way to close this reading because the Hierophant is all about tradition, spiritual wisdom, divine guidance, and higher learning. This card represents established systems of belief and the teachers or guides who help us understand deeper truths. And in a reading about a divine message at 11:11, the Hierophant feels like the universe saying, I'm here, I'm guiding you, I've been with you all along. The Hierophant is showing me that you're being called to connect with something bigger than yourself right now. All this worry, all this mental chaos, it's partly because you've been trying to figure everything out on your own without tapping into spiritual support or divine guidance. And this card is a gentle reminder that you don't have to do this alone. There's wisdom available to you. Whether that's through prayer, meditation, working with a mentor or therapist, studying spiritual teachings, or just opening yourself up to receive divine guidance. What's beautiful about the Hierophant ending this reading is it brings everything full circle back to that 11:11 divine message theme. The universe has been trying to get your attention, sending you signs and synchronicities, and the Hierophant represents you finally being ready to listen and receive that guidance. You've been so caught up in worry that you might have been missing the messages. But now you're in a place where you can actually hear what's being communicated to you. The Hierophant also represents learning and teaching. So part of this journey through worry and into wisdom is about you learning important spiritual lessons that you'll eventually be able to teach others. Your struggles haven't been meaningless. Your worries have been part of your spiritual education. And as you move through this and come out the other side with more faith and trust, you'll be able to help others who are going through similar challenges. I'm seeing that the Hierophant is encouraging you to seek out wisdom traditions or spiritual practices that resonate with you. This might be the time to explore meditation more deeply, to study spiritual texts, to work with a spiritual teacher or counselor. to join a community of like-minded people who are also on a spiritual path. You don't have to figure out your life purely through mental effort and willpower. There's spiritual support available, and it's asking to be acknowledged and utilized. The message of the Hierophant is also about conforming to natural law and divine order. There's a way things are meant to unfold, a divine timing and order to your life. And when you align with that instead of fighting against it, everything flows more easily. You've been worried because you've been trying to force things to happen according to your timeline and your plan. And the Hierophant is saying surrender to divine timing, trust the process. Know that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. So Aries, looking at this whole reading, the divine message at 11:11 is so clear and so compassionate. The universe is saying, I see how worried you've been about so many things. I see how your mind has been racing and how exhausted you are from trying to control and understand everything. And I need you to know that you're going to be okay. More than okay, you're going to thrive. All these cards point to success, recognition, emotional mastery, personal power, and spiritual growth. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're not making mistakes. You're exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what you need to learn. The worry has been part of your journey, but it's not your destination. You're moving into a phase of greater clarity, confidence, and spiritual connection. Things are going to start moving quickly in positive directions. You're going to be recognized for your efforts. You're going to develop incredible emotional strength and wisdom. You're going to take charge of your life with real authority. You're going to have the courage to walk away from what doesn't serve you. And you're going to deepen your connection to divine guidance and spiritual wisdom. The universe wants you to stop carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. You don't have to have all the answers right now. You don't have to figure everything out today. You're being supported and guided every step of the way. Trust that. Trust yourself. Trust the process. The things you're worried about are working themselves out even as we speak. Your job isn't to control the outcome. Your job is to stay open, stay present, and keep moving forward with faith. Does this resonate with anyone else? I'd love to hear if you're feeling this Aries energy too, or if these messages are landing for you in your own situation.